Okay, today I am going live with Tyler Hill of Transparent 52 Weeks of Design Live. It's been a minute. I had all kinds of crazy emergencies. Hi!
Hi, how are you?
How are
Trying to
you,
get my.
Tyler? My God, I haven't seen you since we spoke in Atlanta together.
I know, it's been a while. We did a panel at one
We
point. I remember. Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, how are you?
I'm really good. I'm gonna try not to jump up on the sofa, jump up and down on the sofa though, but I'm doing really good.
Why? Up and down.
Huh?
I'm so happy to see you.
Good to see
Um,
you too.
Uh, I have been, thank you for letting me reschedule. I've just had one thing after the next, and I think I'm like a month behind.
Yeah,
Um,
I like
so
that.
uh, it's so great to see you.
Good to
Tell
see you too.
me, okay, you have a whole lot of things that you did before you landed where you are right now. So
Oh yeah. Oh what?
get me going, start me off.
Okay, well, do you want me to start like how I got into design and kind of go from there? Or okay, so I originally I did my undergraduate in sorry, my screen keeps going dark. I did my undergraduate work in Texas at two different schools, Southern Methodist University and Schreiner, a small liberal arts school in West Texas, for business. But after doing that, I'd always had an interest in design ever since I was a young kid. I I've never been. God, my screen keeps going dark. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing
Well,
that.
if it's makes you feel good, I can see you. You're not on low power mode.
No. Oh, you know what? I am. Sorry. Let me change that real quick. Sorry.
So anyway, so I had COVID for a million years recently. There. Okay, good.
So so yeah. I mean, ever since I was a small kid, I've always had an interest in design. I remember one of the first things that kind of caught my interest was looking through my mom's old magazines. One's like Southern Living, and you'd see there was always a floor plan in there, and I would do like furniture layouts. And I was never in school. I was never really a good listener, but I was always observing. I mean, I was looking at everything. I was.
Oops. I'm getting the circle. The wheel. Hmm. Darn. There you go.
You just cut out again.
Yeah.
Sorry. What's going on? It's just screen keeps.
Are you plugged in?
I got to get better with live.
Are you
So,
are you
huh? I can't hear you.
are you charging?
No.
Maybe you should. If you're
No,
on
it's a full battery.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's doing that.
Not crazy.
So anyway, I decided to go. I moved to Charleston for a summer job and kind of fell in love with the area. And after that point, I decided to go back to school because I didn't really want to.
And at this point you had your business degree, but you weren't sure where you were heading.
Correct. And so I didn't. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do exactly. I I also had an interest in photography and film, but I wanted to, I really fell in love with Charleston, so I wanted to stay there. And I decided to go back to school to the Art Institute and get a degree. I actually got a degree in graphic design and loved it. And that's kind of when I started experimenting with just, product design and stuff. I met my former partner there in Charleston, and at the time he had started what was mostly an art gallery. He did a pop-up shop for 6 local charities, and it kind of grew from there, and we kind of came together, and it developed into, an interior design firm, furniture showroom, carrying all different kinds of brands, as you know, like Hickory Chair, and sorry, it keeps.
So this business was with your former partner. Is I'm always curious, not that I work with my husband, but is it a good idea to be in business with a partner? Do you think, philosophically speaking, like, is it or is it too much to put on a, not too much, but it's a lot, right? To be.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some positives owning a business together when you have two different strengths. You know,
Mhm.
he's very good at sales. I'm more on the creative side. And so I think that can work out well. But the downside to that is I think, we became, it was, when you're together with someone as far as the business and at home, it's a lot. Um, and so I think that can be very stressful on some relationships.
Yeah. I,
But
I want to work with my husband in the same physical space, but we are not in the same business. So we
yeah,
would work together. But I would like we're combining our offices, which I think maybe that's a good middle ground. But
yeah.
it's interesting for me to hear you. You know, I know like you're a little shy, right?
I'm naturally, yeah, 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 yeah.
Me too. Just kidding. I'm not shy at
I
all.
thought about having a mimosa, but I
But if you
substitute
work
coffee.
if you work with somebody who's good at sales, or anybody who has complementary skills, that's amazing as long as you don't give them up, give up trying it totally. Because if you're not good at something and somebody else is really good and you never try to do that thing again, then you atrophy any potential ability.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
if you can atrophy potential, but you know what I mean? Like you still do need to know how to do that to some extent.
Oh, I agree. I mean, right now we can talk more about it later, but with launching this new brand, I'm the one that has been to the workroom. I'm the one that designed the pieces myself and spent months and months with each piece designing them and getting them correct. And so I know all the, details of everything. Unlike, I'm looking into hiring a person in charge of the national sales, but right now, in the beginning, I'm the one that knows the product the best. So I'm the one that has to really sell my brand.
No one will know it better or want it to succeed more than you.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. So it's, we were, like I said, we each had our strengths, and it was, it, it was a fun, it was, I'm very, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
uh,
personal. Let me ask you this. So, at what point did you go when you were doing the design part of the entire business in Charleston? Um, were you focusing on everything, or were you doing? I mean, you mentioned the furniture plans. What was the thing you loved best about working for homeowners?
I would say giving them, I think the best part was the unveil, the installs, seeing them just, a lot of times, sometimes they would be nervous about trying something out. There would be, for instance, a chair with a fabric they weren't 100% comfortable with. And so I think seeing having them see the end result and knowing that, they love, seeing their reaction and seeing that they looked forward to living, many, many years with these things that we both kind of put together for them. And I think I would see, sorry,
Okay,
I
I think
have,
a lot of us would agree with you. It's just it's so rewarding. I mean,
yeah,
maybe all agree with you. It's so rewarding, and it really feeds us that the joy of our giving and the approval then that they give back to us.
yes.
At its best, it's just a huge love fest.
No, exactly. I think that's the biggest reward for me is it's not, I mean, the design process obviously is fun, but seeing their reaction at the end and knowing that they're going to, especially when they absolutely love everything and knowing that this is now a part of their life, because I mean, whether it's a table or a sofa, this is part of their life. And we
It's
we
their
were
home.
a part of, it is. And it needs to look like them at the end of the day. That's the most important part, as because, that's what makes each project exciting to me too. I remember is that, you know, each client was different. They each had a different aesthetic. Sometimes some of them had heirlooms they wanted to use. And so you had to kind of work around that. And it was that's what made it fun, is that they each had a different personality, and I just love seeing it all come together at the end.
And you're still doing that, right? I mean, Transparent offers design services, but obviously you've done a deep dive into.
Yeah, I've kind of taken a break recently because I've been so busy with Transparent and I went over to the workroom recently and started
It's like a full-time
project. It has, but I'm getting ready to hire someone. I want to get back into doing some design projects. So I'm actually supposed to do Kips Bay, and I think it's going to be in November, but it may be May, so we'll see. But I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I enjoy both processes. I mean, interior design is a lot more collaborative for me, whereas product design can be very solitary. I really have to close myself off, and I'm one of those people that can't have a lot of distractions. I really have to. What? Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm saying it's nice to be able to do both, because then you can focus on the one, then pause, and then the other.
And then go to the other one. And I think that really helps, because I think I'm one of those people too that, like, if I spend too long on something, the results are going to come out forced. And I like to finish it and not step away sometimes. So it's nice to have something else to be doing. And
sure. And it's, I recently, I joke about it that I have no hobbies, but it's recently like started to concern me that I have no hobbies. But the sitting down and drawing of either a product or a room can feel, that it can feel like a hobby because it brings so much happiness.
Yeah, I know. I like to say it's not a hobby, but it is. I mean, you're exactly right. It's depending on the day. I mean, if I sit down and have complete designer's block, which does happen, I'm working on
a better word or there must exist a better word than hobby, because it's so trivializing. There must be something that we people who are extremely creative and who feed on creativity can do, not for money, but that is still parallel to what we love to do for work.
I agree. There needs to be another word, kind of like sectional in one of your other videos. I remember you were talking about finding a different word for sectional. I agree.
Oh yeah. I go a lot with L-shaped banquette, but
I like that. Yeah.
But it's not really a banquette, so it's imperfect.
But it's better than sectional.
Yeah. So again, anybody watching this is Tyler Hill. He was in a design firm in Charleston. He has since relocated to DC with this incredible lighting line that you've been doing for a while now.
Yeah, so I mean, with Mitchell Hill, I started off doing a lot of pieces for clients. They wanted something different that they could market. We had our big vendors. We had, Arteriors and Curry and some other companies, but we started having a lot of clients that wanted, some custom pieces. And so I found a local manufacturer, Averitt, who I ended up doing a licensing agreement with. And so, yeah, I did that for several years. And, I did one project that was like 25,000 square feet. And it was like 50 different, what? I'm sorry.
Those were all one-offs? Or
Correct.
were they then manufacturing them and selling them to source?
Most of them were one-offs. And then some of those pieces I put into the collection for Averitt. And then, I did a really big house that was like 25,000 square feet. And they wanted nothing but custom lighting. And so I thought I was literally going to run out of ideas. So after that, I was like, this is something I really enjoy doing. And I decided basically to kind of jump off a cliff. And this was before COVID in 2019. And decided to kind of start developing my own private label. And so that's what Transparent became, which is just now launching. And I named it Transparent for some of the see-through properties in the line. So I'm excited. Yeah.
So when you started, that this was going to be a bigger thing than it had been hitherto, did you take, I'm assuming the answer is yes, but did you take the designs, were you even allowed to take the designs that you had made for clients. And I mean, did you own those designs? Did you?
The ones that I didn't submit to Avery, yes, correct, yeah.
Okay, so you
Are
had
you
some
doing the one?
made, but you owned those designs.
Correct, correct.
And did you have to raise capital to get this going? Like what goes into that?
So yeah, I actually used, I had a lot of savings, especially from the crypto market, and I got very lucky.
What?
I sold before it went completely bust this year. It's been horrible. So I used some of those savings, and I mean, yeah, it was a, you know, you had this initial investment to get the prototypes in production. I found a great manufacturer outside of Florence, Italy, and so I had the big initial investment was getting the prototypes into production, and then, you know, you got to deal with the euros, of course. So the euro changed between the time I paid the deposit and paid the balance, and so it's been a really fun and interesting, sometimes stressful process, but that's what happens with the first collection. But yeah, there's definitely been a large investment that I put into this.
Great, because you're investing in yourself instead of some bizarre
Yeah,
financial instrument that is like mysterious and unreliable.
exactly,
You know you make beautiful things and you know what good quality looks like in lighting. So
exactly. And it's more rewarding to invest in something that you do yourself, and
very,
so
very.
yeah, so.
So tell me about the line itself. What are the hallmarks of the lines, of the various
So
pieces?
I would say a lot of my stuff in the past has been kind of more Art Deco, kind of more semi-traditional, transitional. This line is kind of brutalist inspired, I would say. It's more contemporary, at least the first collection. Down the road, I want to kind of go back to the 1930s. But I would say it's, you know, the dominant materials are kind of a bronze, alabaster. There's a lot of mirror in this collection. I was inspired by some skyscrapers I saw in London and New York City, and applying these like metal and glass grids you see on them to lighting and to some furniture pieces. And so there's a lot of glass, and I spent a lot of time trying to get the colors right as far as the mirror. I looked at a whole bunch of different colors, and I eventually set on this kind of orangey bronze kind of mirror with a sunset hue to it that I just kind of fell in love with. I felt like it was very versatile, and it could go in several different settings. But I also wanted to create something that was very customizable. I mean, you can switch out the bronze mirror for turquoise mirror if you have a beach house, for instance. When I recently went to the workroom in May, I saw the pieces in their raw state, and so I realized that I think any designer that's in product design should go to the factory and they should really see these pieces, you know, as they're being produced. Because in the past, I was kind of hesitant to offer these pieces in a different finish, but I realized that I actually really like the satin brass. So I'm going to be offering them in that. Those will arrive in August, the end of August. So, yeah, I mean, I would say there's some leather that I'm using on some of the pieces.
Yeah. You get to go then to Italy all the time now?
I'm hoping, yeah. I finally went. That was the first time I went since I started putting things into production in 19. But then, of course, the factory was closed for a year, and then it was closed again. And so I finally went in May, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was nice, like sitting next to the artisans and meeting all of them and hearing their interesting stories. Like, it's crazy. Like three of their dads used to work at the same factory. And so it felt like one large family, which I love.
And I'm really glad you're doing this with them, because obviously we need to support artisans, whether by doing what you're doing or just by patronizing them as customers, because otherwise they'll go away forever. And we need generational knowledge of these skills. Actually, I'm sure you have too, reading, you know, dire predictions for Murano, because now Venice has outlawed the huge ocean liners, which of course they should, but because they have the tourist trade to Murano and the other outlying buildings has been gutted. And so you should do some stuff in Murano too. I mean, if you're over there anyway.
I really want to, and actually, like, there's someone else there that does some design work in the same workroom, and they've experimented with Murano glass. So it's definitely on my list. I would like to. I want to mix Murano with some different materials like mohair and stuff. So it's I'm excited.
Where do people? I mean, do people buy off of a website, or do we get a catalog? How do we find you?
Yeah, so I have a website that launched recently, transparentatelier.com. And then I also have catalogs that I can always mail to people. I have a digital catalog. So yeah, I'll definitely send one to you. Sorry. You've always been a design icon. I mean, speaking of product design, like I loved all your stuff with Hickory and obviously now at Theodore Alexander and Circa and I mean, everything you do. Yeah, Krabbit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great privilege for those of us who have the opportunity to make product, to be involved, to get to do it. I mean, who hasn't at one point said, oh, if I could only just make ... And we can.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very true.
What is your plan for Transparent Atelier going forward in the future? Is this going to be, I mean, besides growing it, I see that you sold all over the place. You have your own sales force, or you're carried through other people?
So yeah, I'm in the process of hiring someone to help with sales outside of places where I'm going to have distribution. So my first distribution channel is going to be New York. There's someone in New York City that's going to be carrying it. I'm actually going to be going there tomorrow and meeting with them on Wednesday. And I should have asked if I can mention who it is, but I know you've been there. I'm very excited.
I'm guessing it's 200 Lex.
No. It's a smaller building.
Okay. You'll tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm excited. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing that. And then there's, and looking at doing some other cities, showrooms in other cities. And then eventually, like, my goal is I really want to do a store. I spend so long just like, I'm obsessed with furniture. I spend so long, whether it's on First Dibs or, I'm constantly looking at Shelter magazines. I'll go to the airport and I buy every single one before getting on the plane. I look ridiculous, but I have to know what's out there. And I've just always loved furniture, lighting, all of that. And so I would love to have a store someday, kind of different than Mitchell Hill, like just a lot smaller. Like I don't want something real big, but I want to like have my pieces in it, as well as other, a rotating list of other designers who are introducing product, and as well as, some select antiques. So I'm really excited about that, but that's probably gonna be 3 years down the road.
Do a business plan?
Huh?
Like, do you do an imaginary business plan for yourself?
Oh yeah, this store is I already have an idea of what I want the store to look like and everything. But
exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited, but it's going to be probably 3 years because I want it to, I don't know where exactly it'll be. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Texas. I don't know. I'm from Texas originally, but.
But you're living in Washington, D.C.
I am. I love it. Yeah, I moved here. It was never on my list, and I moved here about 6 months ago, and I liked it because it was near New York. I can get on the train, be there in no time. And
you know what else is near New York?
Huh?
New York is near New York too.
No one else is near New York, you said?
Yeah, New York is very near New York.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought about because we had a part-time place there.
But you're taking on projects for clients.
Huh? Sorry.
Are you still you're right now? Are you
keep taking out
clients?
Not currently. So I have someone in Alexandria that wants to do it, that sorry, it keeps cutting out. Done a few things with, but not like a full blown new construction or big renovation. The
Um,
small things right now. And then my goal, like after I get the salesman going and get through, I'm doing a booth at one of the design fairs in October I'm excited about. And then hopefully Kips Bay. And then after that, I really want to get back into interior design projects.
um, yeah. Now that it, you exude organization. You
Oh,
definitely do not seem like a haphazard person. So it's interesting, you know, I know there's so many people out there who would, you know, be freaked out about putting that on pause and then coming back in. But it sounds like in that as well, you have the plan in
yeah.
your, and obviously show houses are such a wonderful way to reintroduce yourself. Uh,
I think so too. I definitely think so too. I definitely miss that. I mean, I loved when I used to work on projects with my old partner Michael. It was fun. It's totally different than. I mean, I love product design. Don't get me wrong; it's extremely rewarding because you're really like you're creating these pieces that
where
are
you get a thing.
all over the country or across the pond over to London. I mean, you don't know where they're going to go, and you're really creating for the masses. Whereas interior design to me is just a lot more one-on-one. It's it's a lot more it's rewarding in that aspect, and so I definitely miss that. Um,
Yeah. So when you say you might open a shop in Texas, does that mean you're going to move again?
well, I don't know for sure where I'm going to open the shop yet, but
But you'll move wherever it is, right?
most likely.
You're so blasé about moving. I love this. You're
I will be honest. I'm having trouble. Like like you said, I am a little too organized sometimes. But when it comes to like where I want, like right now, I'm loving DC. I really am. Sometimes I think New York. Sometimes I think Texas because I mean my family's there and I really miss them. Sometimes
yeah.
I've been away since 2005, which is hard to believe. So yeah.
Somebody's growling.
But I love the East Coast.
Um,
By
let's
the
talk,
way, this is kind of random, but did you ever find a place for your cathedral?
oh yeah,
That big, huge cathedral you posted, I loved that.
it's
The
in
Milan.
Southampton. It is far bigger. I mean, I know it was big. It's really big.
It got bigger.
Down in the basement just until I knew where I wanted to put it, and I couldn't get it through the door.
Oh wow.
So it's sitting in my mother's pool house, or in the area that's my husband's office in the pool house.
Yeah.
I will find a place for
It's
that.
so cool. I love it.
I mean, I'm all about the architectural model. I cannot get enough. I love them. I think it's like toys for grown-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toys for grown-ups who like architecture.
Oh,
Um, anyway, yeah, I do have a slight fantasy of making architectural models that could be converted into dog
oh really?
crates. You know, make them maybe out of resin so they're not really, but like, or bird cages that you could turn into
Oh,
a
I
dog.
like that. I like that.
Something is beautiful and structural and airy. Um, but yeah, that is not for the masses. That's a
Yeah.
super specific
You're gonna
thing.
start mass producing those, yeah.
That would be like a poor child Christmas catalog ridiculousness. Anyway, what? So may I ask you how old you are? You could say no.
Oh gosh, you'll have to guess.
Um,
No,
I
I'm
find that
40.
the older I've become, I've definitely tracked a change in my approach to design. It's getting a lot more ornate. Um, it's it's getting more. You know, I've always done a lot of custom stuff, but now I want to do even more. So my question to you is, where are you? Like, where did you start off aesthetically in your design practice, and where are you right now? And is it the same?
I would say I was more. I would say it was a lot. I started off more traditional. I would say. Now I'm a lot more. I try to break bound. Like I was scared to break boundaries and kind of take risks in the beginning, and now I'm doing that a lot more often,
Do you
especially
do
with
it
the
on
most
purpose
recent.
as
Huh?
do you do it on purpose as a goal in and of itself?
Not really, not really. I just find it to be. I used to be. I don't know. I used to like to. I hate. It's not the best thing to say, but I used to play it a lot more safe, and now I'm just more comfortable. I think over time, you just get more. I'm more comfortable with my decisions, and I enjoy, taking risks and seeing, and waiting for the outcome. It's kind of like a high for me. And so, like with transparent, I didn't want to do it unless I was bringing something that was truly unique to the market, or I wouldn't do it unless it was. And I also, my other rule was every single piece had to be in my own home, because if I wasn't going to put it in my own home, who else is going to put it in theirs? And so originally there were like 14 pieces, and sometimes you just have to cut the pieces that sometimes you love the most,
Is
or
the
you
lamp,
think are the most interesting.
is the lamp behind you one of yours?
No, but it's always been, it's Fisher Wiseman, and I've always loved it. It's one of my favorite pieces of theirs, and it's kind of a good complement to some of the other pieces. But I also
So
like mixing antiques. I have like that burl, this burl wood and lucite side table from the 1980s, and so I like to mix, even though that may not be considered an antique yet. That scares me because I was born in the 80s.
yeah, trying to get all of these comments off your face. There we go. Um,
Are they good?
I get a sense of what your house looks like, but is it, tell me more about it. And
This
then if you
one,
had a house, what would it look like?
or if I built a house,
Yeah.
what would it look like? Okay, so I am
Well,
going to build a house someday.
residences, not if you just had one. If you kept one and
Okay,
another.
okay. Um, I like this house. I'll be honest, like this is the most contemporary home I've ever designed. I partially did it because I wanted to. I mean, it was kind of about my brand. I was just now launching this company, and I really wanted to create a space for these pieces to show well. Because I've had a few DC designers that have come through and seen the prototypes. I have two of the prototypes in here. And so I wanted to do something that was very clean to where these pieces could kind of really be the star. And so I have a lot of neutrals. I do have some color because I think I have to have color. I can't do all black and white. And sorry, my screen keeps going dark if you're wondering why I keep going up.
Yeah, but we don't the good part.
Yeah, so basically when I wanted to keep it warm though, and I think these pieces can do really well mixed, like I was saying, with antiques. I have like in my bedroom, I have a Hollywood Regency armoire that I love mixed with another piece. And so I have some mid-century pieces, some mid-century chests with brass details. I have a brutalist inspired nightstand that's also mid-century in one room. I have antique rugs. And so I think there's a good mix in this place of contemporary and kind of, I do like mid-century. So I wish I had more bookshelves. I think that really helps to make a room.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree, but it's weird now because I cannot comfortably read font in a book, so I'll read on a device. But yeah, that Niven Breen is bringing up a very good thing, which I will heed. But so my books are on my device. So the books I buy now that I need to house are largely design books, and it's very weird to look around and just see design books because we all grew up with all of our fiction and our history.
Yeah.
We grew up with those hardcovers, so it's very different. It's very weird.
I agree with that.
Can you show us a piece that you have in your house of yours?
Oh yeah. Do you want me to get out yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, please.
Let me see if I can move. Let's see. There's this cabinet. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this right.
No, we're upside down.
Wait, upside
I think
down.
we're upside down.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Is that so?
Okay.
Normally I wouldn't put a TV over it, but it worked out really well. I'm not doing a good job with this. Like not.
You know, if you flip,
Okay.
if you look under your face, you'll see those two arrows, and you can flip the screen so you can see what you're showing me.
If you do what? I'm sorry.
Look at where your face is, and
Yeah.
you have two arrows like this.
Oh.
Touch it, you'll be able to see what I see.
Okay. Oh wait, that's the opposite direction.
Yeah, but now you can turn it around
Oh.
because you'll be able to see it instead of
Okay.
seeing.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
Oh my God, where are okay. Okay, here we go.
So
That's much better.
glass, is it metal sheets? What's going on? Very cool.
So this is the Marx credenza, and it is about 33 inches high by about 60 inches in width, and it's constructed of bronze. It's like a bronze cage that these pieces of glass and alabaster sit in. Mm-hmm. So there's the bronze mirror, which is kind of the dominant color of the collection, which I kind of fell in love with. And then there's the alabaster. You can barely see the veining. And then there's the black opaque.
Crafts?
Oh, what?
Got a real Frank Lloyd Wright arts and crafts vibe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of, someone else mentioned that recently. And then there's like a champagne colored mirror in there. And then there's a black opaque mirror. And then the case and as well as the base is wood. So the base kind of tapers in. So it kind of, from the side, it looks like it's kind of leaning, which is kind of cool.
That's what it's dynamic.
Yeah.
Your lights.
Oh, what?
And the light.
In the light?
Your light designs.
I didn't hear you. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Sorry. So I turn it around now.
Sure. I'd love to see one of your light fixtures if you have one to show.
Oh, okay. I need to get it. Let me see. So.
I'm sorry, I'm giving you tasks. That's terrible.
I know. Let me.
Well, A, I'm interested. And B, I want everyone to see them. They can see. I mean, I've seen them before when we gave that.
No, it's fine. Okay, so let me see why this. I got this stupid tripod, and it's like.
I had a tripod. I lost it. It's a sadness.
So.
It's a tripod.
Got a little tripod. I know, exactly. So this is a prototype. So it is not.
That.
I wanted it. So.
It's cool.
Oh, thank you. So that's like the bronze mirror, the alabaster, and the open section is like aged brass. And then, so this is a prototype. So the rods are supposed to be more straight. So I'm getting these brackets made that will be coming with the ones arriving in August. So that's, and then the top is, what?
It's reminiscent of a stoplight. An arts.
Oh, yeah.
Stoplight.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And then you have the fluted alabaster at the top with the canopy. And so this will also be coming in brass, but the leather bands will be cream instead of black. So yeah.
Wow. It's totally adjustable?
It is. Yeah. So it can come in several different, I'll have extension rods for different heights. I can see a really long one of these going down a staircase.
That's
so. Thank you. Thank you.
That is the eternal problem with the staircase light is, you want the upper landing to get some of the light, but then you really want to see the chandelier.
I know. I agree. So.
The way you mix things that, I mean, obviously lighting in and of itself is a technical achievement. and to have the metal and the hard stuff mixed in with those organic materials, that bronze color and that alabaster earthiness.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get, I am not good with this tripod.
All right, flip us back.
Okay. Enough of that. Okay, that thing is just terrible. Okay. Here we go.
So I like your organic and inorganic mix, and it's funny, just as you were flipping around, then seeing the tree with the low slung deco piece of furniture, you know, I can see that you like that juxtaposition, and as do I.
I do. I love, you got to have some greenery. I mean, I think that's super important. I like big windows. I like greenery. I like, I like olive is one of my favorite colors. And I know, I love your I think it's your dining room. You have the 2 large trees on the table. I love that.
I do, but they're fake.
Oh,
I don't know if I've made it clear, but those trees are fake.
Oh, they
My
are?
big,
I would have never known.
my big tree in my living room is real. That's Louise, and I'm looking at Louise right now. But
Okay.
yeah, I will actually show you. Oops. So that's Louise.
Okay. That's Louise.
Real. Louise is named after somebody I love who was at the office.
I should name mine. I love how you give it a name.
And these are
Yes. I love those.
but my florist made them, and he really did a great job. I tried real first, but I got cobwebs, and that's my Diet Coke. And then I got like lighter in it. It terrified me. I was like, I can't do this. I can't have wildlife on my dining room table. It was too much.
Makes for a story.
Yeah, not for a story you want to hear on your way in. You might want to hear it on your way out.
On your way out.
Yeah.
But I love your place. It just feels so comfortable. So I can tell I could spend just never get tired.
The longer you live in a place, it's something I talk about on a lot. It's such a hazard being a decorator, designer, whatever, and living somewhere for a long time, because we have a hard time leaving it alone.
Yeah.
You find yourself rotating things out a lot. How long have you been in DC?
Only since November. So.
Okay, so you're still in the first flush.
Yeah.
You're still romancing it.
Yeah.
Is your apartment done?
Well, it's mostly done. I will say the guest bedrooms are one. So I have a guest bedroom, and I'm just like, I put everything in there, and it's the last room, of course. But and there's a few more things I want to do in my bedroom. Like I want to get some family photos, like interesting frames, like do a cool installment on one wall. So, but besides that, I'm mostly finished.
And are you able to let it rest unchanged for a while? I mean,
it's hard.
I can let it be for like a good year.
Yeah, like living room. Yeah, I can let most of the things. Yeah, I can. The bedroom I'm wanting to already switch up. So, I think I just have a bad night of sleep sometimes, and I wake up and I'm like, oh, I gotta redo this.
It's the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad feng shui. Must thing.
Yeah. The living room, once it's finished, I'm like, I don't want to change this anymore. It's tough. But,
so back to your love of furniture plans. I love furniture plans. And I do feel like once you get the furniture plan right, you can reinvent the room in many other ways, but like a good furniture plan, maybe stick with it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Because you can solve for a lot of things with color and pattern, but there aren't 20 good furniture plans for a single room.
You can try to get creative sometimes, but sometimes they're never as strong. I've always trusted my instinct on the very first layout, because you try to mix it up sometimes and it doesn't flow as well, or it doesn't.
Right, or it looks like we're trying to be like, ooh, look how original.
Exactly.
Look at the sofa facing the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So interesting. So unexpected. What's your philosophy? You mentioned, you like antique rugs. Are you a all the furniture on the rug or half on, half off kind of guy?
Well, I I kind of like half on, half off. Unless, I mean, if I have a lot of space, like this is an apartment, so I don't have this huge, enormous rooms. But I, yeah, I tend to like usually half on, half off, I would say.
Me too. What um, I would assume your tips for lighting are more varied than mine because you're spending so much focusing on this collection and meeting with the artisans and what I mean I have like basic lighting things that I keep in mind. What are your major points when it comes to what you like to do with lighting? Or what kinds of lighting every room should have or stuff like that.
Well, I think you need a good mix. I think obviously, the the light that it gives off is super important depending on if you're going to be using the area to read or to dine, or if it just needs to be mood lighting. So I think it depends on like what the function is. I would say that. Um, wait, I'm trying to think. Um, just a minute.
Eh,
Are
How
you
do you,
talking about as far as the design or as far as the?
anything, but so as I said, like I don't have hugely nuanced tips about lighting, but I definitely say to everyone, you want it from every direction. You want uplight, you want sconce light, you want lamp light,
Oh yeah, no, exactly, definitely. I think it's
picture lights, but I'm needing more and more light all the time. So I just, for example, put down lights in my entry. Obviously, they're in dimmers,
mhm.
but because they're this, all these systems have just different qualities of
Yeah.
light. So I had to tinker with the programmer to get it on the really yellow range of
I'm
light.
really picky about that. Like I'm really struggling with this new LED, the white lights.
Right.
I don't
So
like them. They
how do
don't
you,
feel warm. They're,
are you, I mean, do you give specifications for bulbs?
oh yeah, yeah,
And so people can get them LED but yellow, or are they incandescent?
yellow. Yeah, mostly yellow.
Um, yeah, lighting is so critically important.
It really is. It's,
The great florist in New York, Rennie Reynolds. Before my wedding, I went to him and I was not communicating well with the Greek florists, even though my husband's Greek and could speak and whatever. I think it was my fault because I know so little about plants. So I went to Rennie and I said, "Can you help me do a centerpiece? And then we'll take pictures and you'll write out what's in it."
yeah.
And he did, but when he was doing that, he said to me, "This is all good and well, but the lighting is your issue." And I was like, "What? Why is the florist saying this?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, lighting is so much more important than the flowers." And I thought, if a florist is going to say that, then it must be true. And
Listen,
he showed us little candles that we could hang from the branches and the trees, and
yeah.
it really it gave me, and I was 29 at the time. It gave me such an appreciation for it was so shocking to me that he had said that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
That's interesting.
I've
Yeah.
learned.
Who would have thought? I mean, yeah. I think it's really, I mean, like you were saying, it's really important for a room. I love art lights. I have four of them in this place. And like your living room, I noticed there's um, art lights scattered around. It really completes the space. I feel like, having every different type, like you mentioned, like the down. Sorry, I cannot talk today.
Don't worry, you've been talking for an hour.
I'm so worried about the thing. Keep dark. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I think it's I like dimmers. I think those are super important. I think one of my pet peeves is like on some past client projects is they didn't want to put a dimmer in
But
for
that's crazy.
whatever reason, and it
That's
changes
crazy.
the whole mood of a space.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure, all these lights could dim. And, I think you don't need to, it is, I mean, people keep saying, it's the jewelry of the home, and I believe that. It's truly the candle on the cake.
Are you going to show at High Point?
Not in High Point. So,
Maison or something?
yeah, it would probably be Maison or Salone.
Okay, well, when you do that, will you please, hold on, somebody's saying we usually do 5,000 to 6,000 Kelvin for sealing, and all wall lights around 3,000 Kelvin. Thank you, Sarnia Spaces. I do. I could not tell you what Kelvin my lights are, but I know what I like. But so Tyler, when you go to Salone or wherever to show them, will you let me know so we can post about it and see it? Because I'm sure everybody
I
wants
would love
see.
to. I would
After
love to.
looking at that beautiful chandelier, like I really want to see more of your stuff, and
I would love to.
I do want your catalog, please.
Definitely. I would love to. And it'll all be on display, or a few of the pieces will be on display somewhere near, I think,
Somewhere near soon.
in October. So.
Okay, wonderful. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't worry about your screen going dark. We didn't see it. It just looks like you're stabbing us occasionally.
I mean,
And I look forward to seeing you soon. Congratulations.
it's good to talk to you. It's been so long. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
But well, are you going to go to
Everyone.
market?
Huh?
Are you going to go to market even if you don't show?
Oh, no, I always go. I like to see what's out there. And so I usually always go, although I need to book my hotel.
Well, come and see me at TA.
I would love to. Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
See you then. Kisses.
Have a good week.
You too. Bye.
Bye.